Create with Fran Sidney. Hello everyone and welcome to the show. This is Fran Sidney speaking to you for episode 142. And today we're going to talk about purpose. Do you like purpose? Are you feeling lost? This episode is for you. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's go straight in. We do not like to waste time. So if you're feeling like, you've been wandering without an aim for a few weeks or months or maybe years, and you're feeling emotionally numb, you're not quite happy. What's your purpose? Why am I here? What am I doing? There could be lots of reasons why these things happen. Why do we feel that we don't have a purpose? There are quite a few reasons, and I'm just going to go through quite a few of them, and then we'll see what we can do about it. So we can rule out, first of all, anything like serious depression, things like that, or having just failed a huge exam. Of course, maybe for a few days we will feel like that, and that's okay. Also, there could be some medical reasons. For example, I was looking at some studies, and they have shown a connection between a fast food diet laden with salt and very refined carbs and a lot of sugars and fat, and is connected to lack of clarity in our mind and with metabolic disease. And then there is such a thing as candida, and the overgrowth can cause the very famous foggy mind. So let's set aside all these medical ones, and we'll just go to things that happen in everyday life. So not medical, but like more emotional. So I'm not going here in order of importance or seriousness or whatever is more widespread in population. I'm just ruling out whatever came to my mind after reading several articles about it and actually looking in my journal as well and see why would we ever lose purpose in our life and feel like we're getting nowhere, nothing is good, I don't care anymore. It could be anything. But one of the things that happens nowadays, so it's very recent, it's all the media's fault. Yes, I'm not laughing because there's nothing to laugh about really, but it's because that could really be it and we don't realize, because the media represent all the time a commercialized fantasy, something that most people cannot realistically achieve with everyday means. So sometimes media can make us feel that we are not good enough. We feel like, falling short, we feel more depressed, and then we might one day wake up and say, who am I? Since I don't really have a life that this media tell me to do, I don't have a body, I don't have a success that everyone has, I'm not earning 6 figures, I don't have a fancy house, so maybe I'm a nobody. So if we keep repeating this question to ourselves, maybe, physical things or success at work, etc., we might lose purpose. And there could be, for example, some media articles, especially in the last 10 years, that would make us believe, especially women, that we must all remain forever young. Otherwise, we can't get a job, we can't keep a partner or find one, we can't be successful. And so you see this barrage of advertising that you have to be always young. You cannot have gray hair, you cannot have wrinkles, you have all these clever devices, RF devices, creams, red lights, white lights, laser, skin resurfaces, needles going to your skin, Botox and surgery, all this so we look forever young, because of course all this is not good anymore. We can't be middle-aged, the media told us we have to be young. And in some cases, we might look at ourselves and see that despite using maybe some of these devices, or despite having maybe a good diet or whatever, we're still not looking like these Instagram influencers that we are following, and we think, well, I'm just wasting my time trying to eat well, to live well. I run every day 20 miles. I'm just never going to look like that. I'm just going to give up. And so we lose a lot of purpose sometimes because we are comparing ourselves to these unattainable beauty or success models in any field, not just with beauty, but just like work or how many belongings we have, and we might feel like there's no point, and that's how we might lose any hope to ever get anything and to be happy according to the media. My third example of how we can easily lose purpose is that we are constantly connected to our devices for many reasons. And so if you think about it, this constant stream of alerts and messages and pressure to do something, to reply to people, to be nice and not ignore them because they might even get upset, this can take our mind off. So from what? From what really matters to us, from what is important to us. And you know what happens when our attention is quite fragmented in this way? We might lose our direction. And we might forget completely that we had set a goal, in January. We decided to lose weight, to become fitter, to run faster, to get a better job, to improve our relationship with somebody, to go up in our whatever school we were teaching or whatever. And so we might have like a cognitive overload that is very real and it's there. And the structure of our days is diluted with this constant connection to the devices. So if that is the case, it should be quite easy to sort out, isn't it? Another reason, and this is number 4, is that perhaps we are socially connected to thousands of people. Like me, I got 1.5 thousand, followers. And who are they? But we might lack close personal friends. I have friends that I can cross the road, go and see them in person. I know who they are. I see them every week. But do you have close friends that you can actually see? Do you have people in your family? Are you connected to somebody? And sometimes we might experience a real isolation and the lack of a social support that we need from those people who live with us. And therefore what we do doesn't seem to have any meaning. So careful of what type of friends do we have. Is it just normal friends, or is it people that we see only on social media? And are they helping us? And let's move on to number 5. It could be that you are not stuck on the internet the whole day. You couldn't care less. You don't even have a television. Could that be possible? You're not scrolling the whole day for news. But you might be losing your purpose, your meaning, because maybe your job is taking the whole day. Your home duties, whatever. You can be working at home as a mom or dad, or you could be outside working for money, and that is taking all your time, all your energy. And so when you finish your day, you don't even remember what are your goals and your passions and your values. And so maybe there was a purpose that you wanted to honor, but there is no time. So there could be a reason, nothing wrong with anything you do. You're just working your socks off. Number 6, maybe the company that you are working for, your school, your university, your drug company, I don't care what it is, it doesn't really have a cohesive and strong drive, a purpose, a mission, some ethics, and they're not really clear of what this stuff is. They're not telling you what they are. So maybe you are working just to earn a living. You just want the money, but you don't feel the drive, you don't feel the obligation, the purpose, the passion for your company. You don't believe in them. And that's important, because then you spend the entire day without a purpose. And there was a study published by Harvard Business Review that found that when companies had a clearly articulated purpose, which was understood very well in the organization, they have a much better growth compared to the companies that didn't do that or didn't leverage the purpose they had. So this also means that works will feel more meaningful and rewarding when you are in a team that is purpose-driven. So think about it. Why are you doing your job? Good question, right? And number 7, which is the last, and there will be lots more, but you can tell me them. This is when somebody has passed away, or a relationship has ended, maybe a big divorce, and that really feels like a funeral. And when somebody goes out of your life, maybe a child doesn't talk to you, a parent, a narcissist parent, who knows, you might feel lost, you might feel helpless, in pain, you might have grief, you might feel that you're not good enough, you're not worthy to be loved, or that you don't want to exist because all your life was centered around this other person or group of people that are no longer there. And so life can lose meaning, and your hobbies, your interests and passions might look like they're not interesting anymore. So this could be, part of depression and grief. So I have a 10-point plan that I have here for you that might help you, if you follow it, to get a move from this and feel a little bit better and get your purpose. And the very first step that I suggest you do is to really accept that in this moment you are feeling lost emotionally, or maybe you are sad or grieving, and whatever the purpose and the process that caused this, it just happened. You have to accept where it is. It's sinking inside me. I understand it's here. So that's your first step to finding a new purpose, is to see how you are doing. Just take notice on that. And that takes me to number 2, which is to take real notice of what's going on. So maybe write in your diary or use a scrapbook or art therapy, anything to write those emotions, to let them flow out of your body, allow them out. Because if you deny them, or you bottle them, or you just ignore them, they will resurface later on in the form of anxiety, of depression, and more lack of purpose, which is not what you want. Now, it could be that the very reason why you do not have lack of purpose is because your other half has walked out, because you were so impossible to live with. So really, it was your fault. Or maybe your boss has fired you because you kept showing up late, you were not working, you didn't do your job well. So you really have kind of earned this natural consequence of making life really hard for other people until they cut off. Okay, that can happen, nobody's perfect. But you still need to look after your mental health, especially now. Because even if a situation is stressful, and surely it is, there will be guilt and all sorts of emotions. It is how you react to the situation that matters. And if you tell yourself you will be able to handle it, you can learn a lesson, you can grow from it. It will be a lot better than going to the sugary snack or lots of eating or alcohol or vaping or smoking or whatever to kind of quash those emotions, because they will come back later. You cannot just destroy your emotion, that you have to process them, and they will help you to feel better. It could be that a very important, serious event has shaken you so much that you have lost purpose to do anything. Maybe you lost somebody important because of a chronic illness or a sudden accident. Maybe you are feeling like you're drifting away without really accomplishing anything for the entire day. And so what you can do is to try desperately to engage in any wholesome activities that you would normally enjoy, whatever that is. You could just maybe keep the routine you had before as much as possible. Maybe just a simple walk outside. It can make miracles. Going to the gym. You are going to the gym before the event? Keep going to the gym. You were taking your dog outside? Take your dog outside. Visit a friend for a chat. Go and knock on the door of your neighbor. Have a little chat. Why? Because yes, it could be good after an important event with loss to lock yourself in, stay, maybe a week inside and just think and process and ponder. That's fine. But returning to your good routine, or if you don't have one, creating a good routine is going to be so useful. And you could join also a focus group, especially if you are dealing with grief, divorce, domestic abuse. So deal with that in a group. That might be good for some people and helpful. So we're here now at point number 5. And think about this event or series of events that cause you to feel like you don't really have a purpose. Which is possibly a very good time to pause and to ask yourself, what are your values? What is that is important for you? Is it to feel good, to have success, to grow, to have challenges, to become better? Is it to be stable or to move all the time? So take notes of your values and see how you can honor them with simple things you can do every day. And you might even get involved in things like charity work, for example. Learn a new skill or look up people that you have always admired and see which skills they have that you would love to develop. And this will give you more direction. You might also want to attend maybe a seminar or a new sporting event, something that could give you more inspiration to move in one direction instead of another. But try to remember when you're feeling down and lost, remember though that giving is what gives people more happiness and purpose. And so consider maybe some altruistic behavior, for example, donating to a worthy cause that you care about. You could become a volunteer in an association, you could be helping your neighbors. There are millions of things you can do. You might be unsure of what your talents and abilities are. You might be on a low end and thinking you're not good enough for anything. So if you have no clue of where you could use your energies, You could ask your friends or ask maybe somebody in your family who is positive. Usually friends are quite good at finding out which talents they spot our abilities, and they might tell you are such a good listener or you're so good at this and that. And they might open your eyes to new adventures and to more purpose. So don't discount your friends. Maybe they will be the important part of this big purpose-driven puzzle that you're working on. And since we are talking about friends, moving to number 8, it is the best time now to choose the most positive friends, because you need them when you are in a moment of your life that is really difficult. So if you have friends that constantly, day after day, continuously put you down, criticize every single thing you do, tell you, oh, you're gonna fail at this, it's not gonna go well, there's no way you can do this, you're not good enough for this, they don't support you, well, maybe it's time to enlarge or change your circle of friends. And to do that, what do? You just strike conversations online, in person, with anyone who shares some of your passions, hobbies, and interests. For example, you could attend meetings and gatherings from your political party or any sports events that you might enjoy. You go to the coronation if you are in England. You can go to a concert, to a theatre show, and politely chat with others and ask for directions and things. And maybe if they want to strike a conversation as well, you might find new friends. Now, if after all this list that I gave you, you still do not have any purpose in particular, and you think, no, I really don't want this hobby, I don't want that hobby, I don't want that sport, then you could think of something unfair, not right, or maybe sad that is happening somewhere in the world. It could be right in front of your house, it could be in Afghanistan, but it bothers you. It could be a cause, maybe you want to save some particular wild animals, maybe you want to rescue orphans, maybe you want to help after disasters, you want to teach people how to read. Whatever it is, there will be so many people who would really and truly appreciate your help and give you a way to grow personally and emotionally. It isn't just about making money, it's about feeling that you have that purpose. So who could you help with your knowledge, with your skills? And even if you don't have a degree or even a diploma, there is always something you can do. According to Forbes, there are 4 key actions that will lead you to do very well in this field. One is to clarify your purpose. So what is your purpose? Clarify very well. Then you want to articulate it, define exactly how this purpose is going to be honoring your values and how is that going to work out in your day. And then you want to remind yourself constantly about this purpose. You want to make some daily choices that are good, that are aligned with this purpose. And finally, you really want to stay nimble. And that simply means that you assess very regularly, maybe every week, maybe every month, how you're getting on with your purpose, how you're getting on with your work and with your mission. So you can evaluate your progress and see what needs to change, to shift, or to be adapted. So you want to keep the big picture in mind and ask yourself, I am doing these choices. I am the choices I am making. Is this getting me to be the person that I want to become? So my hope is that if you have covered at least half of those activities, you will most certainly find your purpose and you will not feel for very long lost, aimless, or maybe unmotivated. And when you find your purpose again, this will make your life feel richer, it will be more meaningful, it'll be happier. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, but when you have a purpose and a calling, you always feel better. And according to a study published in the Applied Psychology in 2010, so 23 years ago, people who have a purpose in life live longer than others. They enjoy better health, and this includes improved sleep and less chances to have strokes, heart attacks, dementia, and very common problems that people have when they do not have a purpose. The good news is that you can start now and you can feel better, more focused, and who knows, improve your career prospects, your relationships, your service, and your contribution to society. So thank you for being with me. I hope that this was helpful and that you might want to share it and like it and subscribe to my channel so it can grow a little bit more, and share it with a friend who might need it. I want to wish you a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. You've listened to Create with France Sydney.